Okay, so let's talk about surface area of prisms. So we've talked about finding surface area using nets, but I want to talk today about finding surface area with a formula. And there's one specific formula that you can use for any prism to find the surface area. And so that formula looks like this. So our surface area is going to be equal to 2 times the area of the base plus what's called the lateral area. I'm going to use capital B for the area of the base and capital L for the lateral area. So whenever we're looking at a prism, we have to be able to identify the base or the bases. There's always 2 bases. And so with a rectangular prism, that's very easy because the bases can be any sides of the prism as long as they're opposite. So whenever I'm working with a rectangular prism, I always just establish the bases as the top and the bottom. So in this case, over here on the left, my bases are going to be these green faces here, the top and the bottom. With prisms that are not rectangular prisms, triangular prisms, trapezoidal prisms, things like that, the bases are always going to be the faces that are not rectangles, right? So over here we've got a triangular prism, and so our bases are going to be the triangles. So we can see this front face here is a triangle, and the back face here is also a triangle. These are the bases. You can see that every other face, all the 3 other faces that are there, are all rectangles, and so those cannot be the base of a triangular prism. So now that we've established what the bases are, we can find the area of them if we're given measurements. So now let's talk about lateral area. The lateral area is the surface area of all the faces that are not the bases. So it's the surface area of the side faces. So for example here, it's this face plus the back face and the other side face. That's the lateral area. So this is kind of like a formula within a formula because we can find the lateral area by taking the perimeter of the base, capital P is perimeter of the base, times the height of the prism. So let's just do an example here and see what we get. So I'm going to say that this rectangular prism has a length here of 20 inches. I'm going to say that its width here is 5 inches. And I'm just going to say its height is 10 inches. So to find our surface area, we need to first find the area of the base, multiply that by 2. Okay, so our base is right here. It's 20 by 5. Here, I'll use colors here. I'll say that my base is this green rectangle here. And that is 20 times 5. So I'm going to say that we have 2 times 20 times 5. Okay, so that's my first part here. My lateral area is the perimeter of the base times the height. Well, my height is 10 inches here. My height is 10 inches. And so then I just have to multiply 10 by the perimeter of the base. Okay, so the perimeter of the base is just the sum of all the sides. So we've got 2 sides that are 20 and 2 sides that are 5 inches. And so we just need to add those up. So 20 times 2 is 40, and 5 times 2 is 10. So 40 plus 10 is 50. So our perimeter here is 50. I'll do this in blue here. Our perimeter of the base is 50. And then our height is 10. So our lateral area is going to be 50 times 10. And so now it's a simple calculation. All we have to do is multiply these out and add them together. So 2 times 20 is 40. 40 times 5 is 200. So this is 200, the area of my bases together. Plus 50 times 10. 50 times 10 is 500. So that is my lateral area. And then I just add these together. 200 plus 500 is 700 and this is square inches. So that's how we find our surface area using this formula. It is 2 times the area of the base plus the lateral area, and we can find the lateral area by taking the perimeter of the base and multiplying it by the height of the prism. Okay, so now let's do an example with a triangular prism here. Okay, so we'll assign some measurements here. We'll say this is 3, we'll use centimeters, We'll say this is 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and 5 centimeters. And then we'll say this is 2 centimeters. It's probably not to scale, but doesn't matter. Okay, so again, first we need to be able to identify the base. And with a prism that is not a rectangular prism, it's always going to be the shape that is not a rectangle. And so in this case, it is a triangle. It is this triangle right here, or the one in the back there as well. They're congruent. So first thing we need to do is find the area of that base. And to do that, to find the area of a triangle, we do 1/2 the triangle's base times its height. And its base is 4 and its height is 3. So we'll assume this is a right triangle. So its base is 4 and its height is 3. So we do 1/2 4 times 3. Well, 4 times 3 is 12, and 1/2 of 12 is 6. So the area of our triangle is 6 square centimeters. So now we just have to do 2 times that area. 2 times that area. So let me I'll rewrite this over here. Surface area equals 2 times 6 plus the lateral area is what we need to find next. And again, the lateral area is going to be the perimeter of the base times the height of the prism. Now, this h and this h are not the same thing. The h in green refers to the height of the triangle, so it's a little bit confusing. The h in blue refers to the height of the actual prism. Now, height is a weird word because in this case, it looks more like depth, but the height is always going to be perpendicular to the base. It's measured perpendicular to the base, and it is, another way you can think of it is the distance between the bases. Right, so we got 2 bases, the 2 triangles. The height is the distance between them. In this case, it is 2. So the perimeter of our base is just the sum of the sides. So 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 5 is 12. So the perimeter of our base is 12, and our height is 2. So the lateral area is going to be 12 times 2, which is 24. So now we've got our formula. So surface area equals 2 times the area of the base, which is 6, plus the lateral area, which is 24. So 2 times 6 is 12, plus 24 is 36 square centimeters. And that is the surface area of this triangular prism here.